I'm really excited to have you on, my man.
I'm excited to be here, honestly.
For those who don't know, you founded a home services company called PadPal. You've been running that for how long now?
This is my third year doing
Third
PadPal.
year only,
Yeah,
man. It
yeah.
seems like you've been doing this for so much longer, dude. Watching your journey and your growth from that first time that I met you, like it's actually like it's an honor to see, man.
Appreciate that, homie.
Like it actually fires me up so much. I remember that first time that we met and we were having coffee and just talking about like kind of I would say our respective business journeys, but I didn't have one at that time. So literally when I met you, you were like, yeah, like what are you up to and stuff? Like I love your podcast and like you've honestly day one like always been rocking with my stuff. You know what I mean?
I get like 3 episodes at the time. So we
Seriously.
had like less than 10.
Exactly. Like I had no business. I barely had a podcast. Like I really didn't have much going on at that point. But I remember meeting you and you were telling me a little bit about PadPal and like what you guys do and kind of what some of your goals are, what you want to do moving forward. And I just remember, man, like I'm like this dude's different. Like he just the way you approach things even back then is like not the word cutthroat is not the way what I want to use to describe you, but like when you want something, you go and get it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that I really like always appreciated about you, man. And like one of the crazy things about PadPal and your journey is how much you've grown, man. Like when I met you, it was like, yeah, we do like driveway sealing and like, was it gutter cleaning?
Windows and gutter.
Yeah, windows and gutter cleaning, that kind of stuff. And I was like, at the time, I'm like, okay, cool. Like maybe he's just got like a little like hustle going. He's like, no, man, like we're actually doing like pretty well. Things are growing. Like, and this winter, I'm taking the whole winter off. I'm going to Thailand.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, this guy's doing it.
Yeah.
I'm like, this guy, like, he already won. Like, he's already doing what I want to do. I'm like, I want to know more about this guy and stuff, right? But you were like, always had your sights set on more. Like, no, I want to grow my personal brand. I want to do coaching. I want to systemize my business. I want everything to run without me. And dude, I look at you here and you've kind of achieved all of that, man.
It's in the process. I wouldn't say I've achieved it. I would say that a lot of those things are within like in grasp. Like,
100%,
yeah,
man.
that's what I'd say where we're at now. Yeah.
And one thing that I mean we got to talk about is since our last conversation, you've blown up on TikTok, my friend.
Yeah, no, I love TikTok. Honestly, yeah, like I started with Jamie. I reached out to Jamie. Everyone probably knows Jamie to start filming them. I knew that there was like an opportunity with TikTok. When Instagram came out, I was still playing junior hockey and like didn't know a single thing about money or business or like the value of attention, which is what social media is. And then when I saw TikTok came out, I was like, hey, I have to jump on this wave before it's like Instagram and like it is oversaturated, competitive, and take space while it's there. And yeah, like just seeing where it would go. And I would say TikTok's changed my life. I know it sounds kind of crazy to say, but like TikTok has accelerated and like brought a lot of things in my life that would not be possible without it. And yeah, it's great.
It's wild because when we first like kind of spoke about that and even at that first coffee, I remember you mentioning like I want to grow my personal brand. And you didn't know how, you didn't know what the medium was. Like we kind of explored like, you know, like you were like I'd like a podcast and like I almost even told you like, man, like I'm not sure if you want a podcast, but you're like, no, I think I want a podcast.
Yeah.
So I'm like, whatever, you know, but like it when it came down to it, I think you made the best choice you possibly could have in terms of like picking a platform to just dominate. Not to say that Instagram, you're not doing that, right? Like, I mean, a lot of the TikTok success has leaked over into Instagram and like obviously your business as well. But in terms of like a growth platform, I don't think there's anything that matches TikTok in terms of just organically getting the most eyeballs.
No, it's not like the way the TikTok algorithm works. So it's showing you to 100 people, and then based on the performance, it shows it to 1,000, 10,000. Like that's kind of how TikTok works.
Yeah.
Whereas Instagram, they're trying to do it now, but historically Instagram's your followers, and then if it does really well, let's say you're in Ottawa, it does really well, you'll get shown to more people in Ottawa.
Yeah, like on the Explore page and stuff.
On
like
the
that.
Explore page, like I saw some Instagrams that go on the Explore page, whereas TikTok, it's global, it's tested globally right away like that. So that's well, Canada state like it can go global, whereas Instagram, like if it's popping off, it's locally or maybe like provincially, but like you're not going to see some random person's Instagram post that lives in California unless they're a celebrity.
Yeah. let's take it back a bit, man. I want to talk about kind of your journey as a hockey player, and you played was it like a professional level at one point?
Yeah, so I played major junior, so I played the OHL, the Q, and then I played in the East Coast, signed right when I was 20. As soon as I finished junior, played pro, and then went back, and then did the varsity hockey at Carleton, and then, yeah, went to the business.
So when did you know that, like, all right, you know what, hockey, like, I'm having fun, I'm doing my thing, like, this is great, like, whatever, but I'm not gonna go to the next level with it, and I'm pivoting.
So I'd say there was maybe two or three times where like because my whole life I wasn't even a question of anything else besides hockey. My first time where I was like, oh, maybe I should look into other things is when I was playing. I was playing pro, so I was 20. I just signed,
Yeah.
and I was finishing the season in pro, and just seeing like the lifestyle. I'm like, okay, this is not this is not ideal,
Yeah.
and it's not ideal overall. And then also I noticed a lot of the guys that did their school were more like mentally okay with being in the East Coast and not making that great of money compared to the guys that just went hockey and now they're 28 and only do hockey camps in the summer. And then my second time where I was like, okay, like maybe I should really start taking the business seriously was when I was in school making good money while playing varsity hockey and doing like a course overload. I'm like, yo, imagine if I was doing business full time.
Full time.
And then the third time was like when when I was coming to the end of my hockey at Carleton, there's always the opportunity to go play in Italy or France. Like every single guy on Carleton usually does that. And that like crossed my mind as well. But then when you're seeing like the contract offers you're offering, and it's like, again, it's the experience. It's fun to go play in Italy or whatever, sure.
But it's not a money play.
It's not a money play.
Yeah.
It's not a life play. So it's one of those like situational things. Like if some of the guys that like their parents own construction companies and then they come home, they're like the foreman for the summer, like dress up kind of idea. And it's, you can go and waste another 5 years, spend another 5 years doing that. But for me, I was like, okay, I need to, like, even when I was a kid, I'm like, okay, I need to make money and be there, like be there for my family one day and stuff. And like, that wasn't the play.
Right.
Yeah.
Because your upbringing definitely was not that I got a rich pops who's a owns a construction company. It was a little bit more of a struggle than that, right? And do you think that kind of shaped like who you are as a person today?
Yeah, like 100%. Like just seeing just some of the stuff like I was exposed to as a kid, and just seeing some of the just the struggle, like, and actually like not being shielded from and seeing it firsthand, some like the struggles and like problems that come from not having money. And I guess I've seen a bit of both sides of the coin, like living with billets that have money and growing up without money. And like, I know it doesn't like 100% buy your happiness, but like, unless you've grown up like, or been in a situation where you have no control and no power to do anything yourself, like you can't really fully say like, oh, money doesn't bring happiness. Because when you're like in this tough spot like that, you know for a fact that like not having to worry about like getting gas money and like what are you going to eat and stuff is it's hard to be happy when you're at that level.
The money doesn't buy happiness thing, like you hear everyone parroting that and talking about that, and like I get the standpoint of it. Like money itself intrinsically will not make you happy, right? Like having it or not having it, that's not like the happiness metric. But one thing for sure, and like you can relate to that, is like not like money solves money problems. You know what I mean? Like when you don't have it, like you got money problems, and those things are making you unhappy. So in the absence of it, like, yeah, it's like gas money. And like, you know, me growing up like pretty middle class, but like not rich by any means. Like, you know, there's always been those kind of like family struggles, immigrant family, whatever. You know, not to like relate my story with yours in any way, but it's just like you kind of get it, what it's like just trying to, when your relationship with money is just a little bit different when you don't have it.
Yeah.
As opposed to almost, I mean, not to say now we're like wealthy, rich, super like ballers, but it's just like now when you kind of, you've been through that, you kind of realize that, oh, okay, like money is this tool that can get rid of a lot of problems. It brings other types of problems, but yeah, on the whole happiness thing, like it's complicated.
So I do think money has a significant factor in your happiness, because again, it's one of those things. It's like, yeah, money sitting in your bank account doesn't bring you happiness, but like being able to give back and like being able to, yeah, like use your money for good and stuff is definitely brings happiness. And then the second thing is like if you have the financial freedom, you can spend time with your family, which is happiness. You can not, yeah. So I don't buy the money doesn't bring happiness. Like I know it's not 100% going to, but there's a lot of problems that unless you've had literally no money and struggled that
Yeah.
that people I think discount
Yeah.
with that saying.
I hear that, man. So, grew up playing hockey. You're crushing it with that. You had a lot of penalty minutes out here. You were a bit of a rowdy guy, huh?
Yeah. 1 year I had the most PIMs in the CHL. So like
That's actually hilarious.
out of any 16 to 20-year-old playing in the WHL, OHL, or the Q, I had the most penalty minutes.
Oh my God, that's legendary, man. I'm in the presence of greatness right now.
I don't know. I should have got a couple less, but I try my best, man.
Hey, man.
I try my best.
So hockey was a big part of your life. Growing up an athlete, you always excelled and always played at a pretty high level. When you knew it was time to kind of pivot into the business world and stuff, how do you equate athletics and being an athlete to business?
So there's a ton of similarities, obviously, as you know, like doing football and going into business. There's a ton of similarities. I would say the biggest one would be like, yeah, being committed to something. Like when you're playing at a high level of hockey, you can't just be like, oh, I don't feel like showing up today, or I don't feel like practicing, and you won't get by. Like you'll be exposed. So
Yeah.
so that is very similar to business. I would say a lot of just kind of the way you have to carry yourself when you're in major, junior, and like pro. Like there's a bit more of like a higher standard in terms of like how you present yourself. That carried over.
Yeah, that professionalism, like.
The biggest difference I'd say between the two, which is something that I really liked about business, was something that you realize when you're playing pro hockey is that you can be awesome and do a great game and do this, but at the end of the day, if you're not on like a two-way deal or not on the right contract, it doesn't really matter in a sense. Like sometimes you can be a good player in the wrong team or great, like kind of vibes.
There's
like,
external kind of factors
that you can't control.
impact, that you can't control, that could prevent you from getting to that next level of exponential gains. Whereas in business, that cap's kind of lifted.
Yeah. Your business, it's easier to see your direct energy for a result. It's not always right away, but with sports, it's like, you're a little bit less of control of what goes on than as in business. It's like if the business isn't going well, like the only person that's fault that is myself.
Yeah.
Like whereas hockey, it's like, like you can play bad and you can play good, but like you can also play great all season. And then like the pro team I was on, the guy it was through Detroit's system, the leading scorer of the team is in the East Coast, who like dominating the East Coast, but because he signed like a 3-year two-way deal, like, and there's just so many other guys in the pecking order ahead of him, he was just buried there. So like that can happen as well.
Yeah, you can dominate, you can crush it, but like there's just so many things straight up again outside of your control. That's really interesting when you talk about like with business, like your inputs, not directly, but like have a significant impact on outcomes. Talk to me about the home services industry as a whole, man. What made you get into all of that?
Yeah, so believe it or not, I got into that. I remember like perfectly because like when I came back from pro, because I had that like a really bad concussion, so I was like, okay, I guess I might as well use some of my school package. And low key in the back of my mind, I'm like, yo, I'll just do half a year somewhere to stay, and like they'll hook me up at Carleton, like
board, and
they'll hook me up at Carleton like without getting into it. And then next year I'll just bounce to go play pro again. Like that's what my thought process was, because I couldn't stay down. I was in Georgia, I couldn't stay there all winter, like just wasn't able to.
Okay.
So then I was like, okay, might as well come. And then I was sitting in class, and one of those pieces of paper to sign up for an info thing, I did that, and then did like a student management program and fell in love with it like that. Like the home service industry, had a good mentor who's helped me out, who was kind of like leaving it. So as he was leaving it, he was just leaning on me heavy to like take over and manage it. And the home service industry is incredible. It's incredible because it's lacking in terms of like our competitors, and a lot of it's not up to date as much as other things are. So like standing out, like doing the little things right, being professional, having a social media presence, you can kind of get head and shoulders above these really, really big companies that don't bother doing that.
And they kind of rest on their laurels because it's worked for so long. Like, why would they need, an optimized website or SEO or like a TikTok account?
Yeah.
All these things that are just kind of new school, but like have a direct impact on your business and the success that.
even just customer service in general. Well, now you're a homeowner, you'll get to experience some of this stuff. It's like the trades that a lot of people look down on, or like home service, anything like that's not like a computer, like pretty job, people like
Not sexy.
not sexy job. Yeah, that's what we say on the TikToks. Like a not sexy job like that, there's so much demand. Like right now, if you try to get a good interlock guy, like he'll be okay, I can book you September 2022.
That's
like
wild.
that's you know what I mean. So like when you have that kind of leverage,
Yeah.
But the thing is with the home service industry is a lot of guys get comfortable at that and they don't want to grow it. They like doing the work, which is fine. But like, yeah, they'll get so booked up. Like, okay, we're booking a year in advance, which is good for them. They're living well. But not a lot of people want to like, okay, let's turn this now into getting a couple crews under there doing it. Let's put a proper presence online. Let's put some systems in place so now I can collect money instead of working like crazy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the big difference between basically like a glorified freelancer and a business, an actual like business that's like, you know, you being an owner of a business that's producing income without you directly having to work. Now that's not to say I don't want people to hear that and think that Chap's lazy, and that Chap doesn't work his ass off. You know what I mean? It's just different now. Like and it's like you said, those systems and that customer service and having something that gives you a competitive advantage. That now, dude, like I mean, you know, Adam won't toot his own horn here, but like dude is like doing big jobs, like big commercial stuff. You're now training other companies to do that stuff. They're coming to you like, yo man, like show us your systems, like, you know, we'll pay you whatever, like we just need to do this. You're also doing mentorship. Like I want to dive into all the different things that PadPal and Adam Chap are doing, man. So let's get started with first PadPal. What are all the services that you offer? And talk to me about those.
Yeah, so PadPal, we started with window and gutter cleaning. That's what I started when I was in school. Window gutter cleaning, power washing, driveway sealing, the lawn care, and then holiday light installations.
Boom.
Yeah.
So you guys do lawn care as well?
We do the spring and fall. We do the
Okay.
seeding, aeration, fertilizing.
Got
That's
you.
it right now.
Okay.
So that's kind of like our core services right there. Like that's our main ones. Main ones is window and gutter cleaning, power washing, driveways.
How big's the crew? And is it the same crew trained to do all those things, or different crews for every
Different
type of
crews? Yeah. So like the window and gutter cleaning guys, like they don't do a single thing with driveways. The driveway guys don't like window cleaning. Like it's like that. And the why I like doing that is because then the window guys, because again, if you have too many services, too many guys doing different things, it's never quality. Like you have
a bunch of generalists who are
Yeah.
just kind of like doing an okay job. Yeah.
like our driveway guys, like my lead driveway guy, he'll do 15 driveways a day, every single day, nonstop. So it's like, you know, they're good driveways. Same with the window guys. Like they've been with me for 3 years now. That's basically all they do.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to holiday lights, everyone does those.
Okay.
But yeah, like we specialize with those services, and then doing that right now. And then it's kind of funny because PadPal is like, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, let's keep getting vehicles on the road. Like that was what I was starting out to do. Like, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's easy, right? Every time you get a vehicle, if I have 2 workers that want to work and I want to get a vehicle on the road, like it's money. It's guaranteed.
Yeah.
There's enough demand that if I want to put 10 trucks tomorrow and like go that route, you can do it. You can fill your schedule. But as I've been like learning and like kind of things have been changing and stuff like that, like we're really focused right now on getting our current vehicles, our current size, putting it into next year for subscription based. So people are going to pay monthly.
Cool, man.
Yeah, working that out. We have like a partnership that a company that does lawn cares. They're a big company. Like they have over 7,000 clients for snow and lawns. Nice. So we're gonna do next year snow, lawns, and then our services together.
So you're kind of on a mission to just dominate all home services. You want PadPal to kind of just be the.
We're really like, because again, there's different ways to do it. You can just do one service, or you can do kind of here and there. And for us, it's like we have so many people right now that do everything with us, except for the snow and lawns, because we don't do cutting. So then, we got approached by, just because having our social media presence, we got approached by a big company here in Ottawa. They have like 9,000 customers. It's a 40-something-year-old business.
Nice.
And he's on his way out, and he's like, I have no one that can take over for me. So we're kind of in that like merger, like, it'll be exciting next year for sure. Yeah.
That's gonna be some fun stuff, man. So, what's the ultimate vision with PadPal? What are you trying to do? Are you building this to sell? is this a company that you will eventually want to pass on a little chap one day, or like what's kind of the vision? Like what are you doing all this for?
So we do, I think, and it's one thing I think last year I started doing that, like when you're doing any business, for anyone that has a business, I think you should always have the idea building it to sell it. Not only because if you do want to sell it, it's easier to do that.
Yeah.
If you start from day one, putting those systems in place, having the manuals in place, having like standard operating procedures,
And removing yourself from having
yourself.
to do the thing. Imagine if you were the lead driveway guy and like you go to sell the business, no one's gonna buy it because it's like, bro, like we need you.
Bro, I want me to tell you how it is. I went on the ladder today because we're running the trainings today. So I'm like, okay, I'll go on the ladder, show these guys how to do the lights. And that was the first time I went on a ladder like since last winter. And I was like, yo, shoot, like this is scary, man. Like I'm like, yo, this is high. Like,
Yeah.
because you get disconnected from it. So the big vision for PadPal overall, like we're growing it right now, building it to if we wanted to sell it. Realistically though, I see it being more of like a cash cow. We're very, very close to getting it to that point where we can step out. We have our customers coming in. Like this year, we haven't spent any money on marketing. It's just all rolls in, which is crazy.
That's insane.
Yeah, we spent less than $100. We forgot to turn off like an ad from last year, so I can't say zero. Cause you got to call them like, how'd you hear? Like, what's this from? But making it like a cash cow to have the money to invest into other business ventures, I'd say. There's also a lot of opportunities that have been coming from the home service industry, like some of our customers that have like heating and cooling companies are doing 20 mil. Just talking with them, they're like looking at our business like, oh, like could you help us with our systems and stuff? So there's opportunity there in terms of like help, because again, these big companies aren't doing it. It's just not part of the home service industry. Like you'd be shocked at like some of the big names that if you went behind their website page, it's like it's just chaos.
Wow.
So there's opportunities in the consulting, and like coaching is really cool, and like the courses, mentoring, that's rewarding.
It sounds like the hardest thing is like opportunity management at this point.
Yeah, so we're kind of taking things as they come. Like really, like my number one focus is PadPal, is like the actual what's going on in Ottawa right now. But like I said, we are very building it to get out of it.
Yeah.
And then the social media, the personal branding, a lot of opportunities will come from that.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know how involved I'll be with it for like my whole life. I do want to use a lot of the money that investing back into PadPal and like another business venture, whether I've been looking into like the NFT space, like business applications for that. Psilocybin mushrooms, that's another one that I think is going to be a really big space that that's not starting with like how I started my window cleaning, $0. Like to get into like the end, like to get into something like that and do it big, you need lots of money. So that's kind of what PadPal is going to maybe turn into. Who knows? We'll see.
Yeah. You shared with me, I think it was the beginning of last year. You had a goal, like a revenue target, and I think it's safe to say that you passed that. You surpassed that goal. Are you comfortable sharing numbers on this podcast here?
I actually have some. I'll break the truth. So the goal this year was to do 7 figures for the company. And it's funny this comes up because literally talking this today with my partner, and one of the companies that were up here asked us. The goal this year was to hit 7 figures, and it's still a possibility depending on how we do with the Christmas lights. Like that's started today, and that is our biggest service. However, this year compared to previous years, I was always been better, like okay at getting the systems in place and that. However, this year we really took a step back and like built out a base, like
a good foundation.
Yeah, like what I'm saying, like we could step away. It wouldn't be this year, maybe not next year, but spring 2023, like I can't really see having any involvement with PadPal, like needing to be involved with PadPal,
right,
and being able to collect.
So you're looking more at buying back your time.
Yeah, we really went again. If I went like last year, it was just like, okay, let's make money, make money, and then this year, like bringing on the partner who was really like kind of like we were talking about this before the podcast. He really balanced it out, and it's like there's been times this year where it's tough where I'm like, yo, like we're only at like 20% over last season's at this time, and like we should be at like this, because it's hard to not always just look at the numbers. Like, okay, we want to hit $1 million this year, and then realizing, okay, we're not on point for that. I'd have that like money, like, but that's short sighted.
It is,
because now like when I step back, I'd be okay, like we could probably have a couple 100,000 more in sales. However, now when we hire somebody, I don't even see them, and guys don't even meet it, like, and it works, which is like out, like, so
Yeah.
it's a, yeah. And then we all spend a lot of time on like our back end HubSpot and
Yeah.
stuff like that doesn't pay you. So I don't, who knows? Maybe we'll do part 2 and see if we get to the million. We'd have to crush it with Christmas lights.
Yeah.
Still in our wheelhouse, and I would have liked to hit it this year for sure.
But dude, like, I just think, like, for 1 second here, man, like, I think you got to take a step back and be like, whoa. Like, the fact that you're even, like, that close is, like, so incredible. And I know we're not the type of guys to kind of, like, pat ourselves on the back and, like, really, like, smell the roses and just be like, oh, look what I've done. Because we're always forward thinking dudes. Like, we're always like, well, what's next? And what's that next milestone? And how do we break that? And how do I go to the next level? And it's just how we're wired, right? I think it's safe to say that we kind of have that in our DNA, right? Whether it's from being athletes or just who we are as people. And we know a lot of people not like that as well. People who just get comfortable and they're like, well, we did, half a million in revenue this year. Like, that's pretty good. Like, I think we're good here. Like, we don't need to, everything is good. You know what I mean? But your foresight to invest in those systems, build a business that's built to sell. Love that advice, by the way. Not for every type of company. Like, obviously some things, like if you're strictly just doing a personal brand, or even if you're building like an agency or something like that, like there are certain business models that don't really lend themselves well to just selling. But always thinking of it in that frame, I think really helps you think like, okay, if I'm not here, who's doing this? And then following that all the way down the hierarchy to like the job actually getting done. Really, really important stuff, man.
Yeah, and built to sell just means like making things easier, so that, like, for instance, like right now, like I could give you the PadPal manual and be like, hey, all my calls from PadPal are being forwarded to you today.
Yeah.
You'd be a little slow on like navigating where to go on your next, okay, they said this, what should I say? But you could take over the call, like that's, so for you, for like having the podcast, it's just like the back end stuff. Like you film the podcast, the rest should be like, as you've done, is getting taken care of. Yeah.
Exactly,
Helps.
man. I think it's really important because I know a lot of people who really take ownership and really like doing the thing, and that's fine. Like wanting to be involved in every step of the process. But I've just always, like, from the beginning of this journey, like when I taught myself how to edit, when I taught myself all this stuff, and I just like how to use equipment and whatever, I'm like, I don't want to do this. Like, I just want to do what we're doing right now. I could do it all day, and like that, I can't outsource this, and I don't want to. Like, this is dope. This is the most fun that I could be having, right? But am I gonna edit that? Like, I bring no value to that. You know what I mean? I could be going and doing more of this while more of those get. Now it's on a way smaller scale than something like a PadPal where you got a bunch of employees. How big's your team now at this point?
10 people, like 10 people
man.
full. Yeah. And then we have, during the summer, we always lose guys at this time of the year though, because we always have like guys like either like hockey guys or like guys that are like this Carlton soccer goalie works for us, so like he wanted to work this fall, and it's just like, oh, I'm too busy now. So 10 solid guys. Yeah.
Well, that's one of the next things that I wanted to talk to you about, right? Is like, for business like yours, and like most businesses, to be honest, like one of the hardest things is finding good people. How do you manage that?
I've been asked this question now 3 times today. I got asked this on DM, I got asked this by the people we were coaching, and now here. And what I say is like, it's the hardest part of running a business is finding good workers. It is by far the hardest, like especially with the government handing out money. It's hard to get people to want, especially doing labor work. We found big success with finding one good person and getting them from their network to ask. That is the best for sure.
I found that as well, and obviously in a different business and lane, but like if you got a homie and you guys are similar, I'm gonna trust guy number one's word, because it's like guy number one's crushing it for me. If you're telling me this dude's solid, there's a higher likelihood of him being solid than putting up a Kijiji ad.
Yeah, that is the best route to go. If that's not an option for you, it's hard when you're first starting out. It's definitely like a real vibe thing. And then after that, like another thing I said to the guy today when he asked me, like the guy that owns his business that's down here, he was asking like, how do you get your guys, like how my guys are? Because he saw my guys working and saw like just they're
on point.
Yeah, they're on point. Yeah, exactly. They're on point. And I said to him, like, man, it's not always about the money. It's about like I'll do things for my employees that I don't have to do, like I all the time.
Yeah, I saw the TikTok.
Yeah,
I got this guy. Got my workers some Wendy's. Like that's a
Yeah.
little bit.
Well, it's more. It's even like
It's
for
more than that.
some of my guys. Yeah, like getting them food and stuff. Like that's nice. But
Yeah.
like I'm saying, like, and it doesn't have to be all the time. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. But it's just like that handful of times where you really show like, hey, I got your back. Like one of my guys was going on a date, and I know he doesn't have a car. And I'm like, hey, why don't you just take my
Yeah.
truck?
Yeah.
Like he was gonna bust there, and like again, it's fine. Like I'm not judging that, whatever. But it's like, the vehicle's either gonna like we have
Yeah.
multiple vehicles sitting here, and like he didn't ask me for it, but like me being like, hey, take the truck, or hey, like it's nice.
But he really appreciated that, man.
And like my guys, like it's like all the guys that work at PadPal, there's times, don't get me wrong, where I'm like, yo, like, I can't believe you guys would do that, or like I didn't even know this thing was breakable. How the hell did you break that? Like they do stupid stuff, but also at the same time, it's like we needed a mini fridge for the shop, and it's like the guy will be on Kijiji and be like, hey Adam, I picked up a mini fridge from Kijiji, and like then again they'll use their own money, and like not like I'll offer them money. They're like, oh no, it's all good. I wanted to just add it for the shop. Like they're bought in.
I love that, man.
They believe in me, and then I think for me, like giving some of these guys that wouldn't have an opportunity in other aspects, and they can see that, hey, the company's, there's 10 people here right now, I'm number 3, and if I just grind, like they can see that it's an opportunity for them.
Right.
Whereas like these guys probably make more money like going and doing like hard labor roofing, making a couple bucks extra an hour, but you're plateau.
But they see upward mobility.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
see that, hey, there's probably a future here. I can learn a thing or two from this guy, and probably some of them too. Like I don't know if you've experienced this, but like want to go and start their own thing.
I had one guy when I first started that was kind of a wiener that went and started his own thing. None of my guys I could see really doing that. And again, if they wanted to, like,
You'd support
good,
it.
good for them. Like good for them. But none of the guys I have right now I can really see doing that. Like I've had guys that, like one of my guys that started like his own fitness business who I've helped with like doing that on the side and stuff, but I can't see my guys right now. Like our main guys are like workers.
They're bought in.
They're workers that are like, instead of them just being a worker their whole life for some company, like they're a worker, and now I'm teaching them a little bit of social skills, teaching them a little bit of like, hey, like you're responsible for the equipment. Hey, like the customer called me, like it's your job. Like putting more responsibility on them in that sense.
More responsibility. Yeah, I think that's a big thing, because then you get people feeling pride in what they do. Excuse me. So kind of something, I want to switch gears a bit. You brought up mentorship before, and me personally, I think that's like one of the most important things in this business journey and this business world is making sure that you have like people and courses and coaching and that kind of stuff that like you can look up to, learn from, download, and save so much time in your journey. And now you're like on the other side of that as well, and we'll get into that for sure. But I just want to talk about that for a second, because for me, from where I've started a few years ago when we had coffee at that time, right? Like I knew nothing about business. I literally remember talking to you and like you were like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I got this government job and like I really hate it and like I'd like to leave." And you're like, "Why don't you do that?" I'm like, "I just don't know what I'm gonna do yet." I will say that I've come, a little bit of a way since then. Haven't come like, crazy, not as much as my man Chap here, but definitely done a few things, and I credit all of that to investing in courses, coaching, reading, learning, and like actually doing, like taking that stuff and not just reading a book, but like reading a chapter and being, I'm gonna go apply that today. So to me, in 2020, I spent like almost $30,000 like of my own like personal money, because at that point I didn't really have business money, right, to invest in like upping my skills. Because I think that was one of the most important things that I could do to start. Is like I need some skills. I just don't have those right now. Like I got to learn about sales. I got to learn about systems. I got to learn even like editing and podcast stuff and like whatever it was. Like I just have to learn as much as I possibly can, right? But I would never go back from that. Like I think that investment in, quite frankly, myself and everything has like led to everything that I do today, man. How do you view coaching, mentorship and stuff from a consumption standpoint? And then I want to talk to you about being on the other side of that.
Yeah. So first off, like the Deepak I met at the coffee shop there, to now it's crazy, man. Like you can't discredit that. Like even just your overall like demeanor, like you had the idea of like, oh, I kind of want to, but you were very like very safe and like weren't confident. I would say you were
Yeah.
very like yeah,
Yeah.
you had that like, and you could. It's like a feeling. I could feel like, oh man, this guy has to just fucking go for it and
Yeah.
like believe in himself and like. So and yeah, you've came like I wouldn't discredit by any means, man. Like there's times where like I see other people like you or Jamie or Hayden or whoever it may be. I'm like, oh, like I gotta step my game up because I see those guys are hustling. So to your question though, in terms of like the mentorship and how much value that is, like 30,000, like I think that's awesome investing that in yourself. Mentorship is it's crazy. It's one of those things where it's like if you're not willing to invest in yourself, like
Yeah.
you don't have a chance of like you
It's a
won't.
cheat code.
It's a cheat code. Yeah, like for and on the consumption end, for me, it's like I did the whole university thing. I knew right away this is a waste. Like I
Yeah.
knew that. So like I'd be sitting in university, and then there's so much free stuff as well online. So like YouTube, like Meet Kevin, like I bought his membership. Like that's an $800 membership.
Yeah.
But again, it's like that $800 membership. Like you could go buy that, and you're gonna learn more than you're gonna learn at 4 years of university.
Yeah.
Right? Like I'm in Zip Trader as well. Like I was another six. Like and then like I have a mentor that mentors me for free. It's a trade-off.
It's reciprocal.
Yeah, it's reciprocal. Like we give and take. But like when I jump on a call, his name's Judson. He owns Asphalt Kingdom. When I jump on a call with him and you hear their level of like the way they look at a problem or the way they look at life and business and stuff, it's just like, yo, they're at that next level. You're like, I need to get to that level.
Dude, I think that's so important to see, dude, because if you're really like, and I hate this quote because it's kind of really corny, but like if you're just surrounding yourself with like a bunch of people who are at or below your level, not to like talk down, or I'm not like ranking humans or whatever, but in terms of like from a business context, like there are just levels to this game, right? Like the insane levels.
Yes.
When you're not looking up above at like, yo, what's next? You kind of can get complacent because you think, yo, I'm kind of like doing it, bro.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? And I think that's a very dangerous attitude to have. And I love mentorship for that. So it's really good that you have that.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So like just the way they think of things, and it's like, and then also putting in comparison, you think of the way you thought of things 2 years ago. So
Yeah.
it's also motivating me. Like, okay, if I just keep on doing this, like I'll be able to have that sort of knowledge and that sort of like when I go like again, like there's another guy that helps me. His name's Paul. His first company went public, and I'll go to him and be like, hey, like this other company is asking us to buy them out. What do you do? And like I have like 3 things that I'm considering, and then he just comes in with like 5 other things and be like, no, like, and it's like
you have way more options than you think, and blah, blah,
way
blah.
other ways to structure deal. Like I'm thinking, okay, like do we offer them 20,000 and buy their customer list, or do we offer them 100,000 and just take everything? Like, and he's like, oh no, what you're gonna do is a 3-year agreement. Whatever percentage of revenue you can pull from his clients, that's what you're like. Just things that you don't think of that like you'd be entering these deals, which again at this point it's whatever hundreds of thousands, whatever kind of deal it would be. Whereas like, and you can mess those up and like in the grand scheme of things, whatever. But like having someone that's already messed up 5 times that can be like, hey, do this.
Yeah.
It's game changing. Like it's investing in mentorship. Like I almost bought the Meet Kevin. It's $5,000 for 30 minutes. Like,
Okay.
But again, it's at the end of this year, I might treat myself. That's the one thing that I've been like,
Maybe if the Christmas lights crush it this year, you treat yourself to a little Christmas gift, bro.
But I know that 30 minutes with like structured questions and like, hey, here's where I'm at. Here's what my like net worth is. Here's my business. Like he can give in that 30 minutes, thousands and thousands of dollars worth of information for me like that.
It's value, not the cost.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And that's what I think, like, when you start getting to that next level and you start realizing, like a little story for me, like, when I was, like, just starting my business, like, literally just starting, like, I didn't even know about, like, corporate structures or anything. Like, I was literally, like, I'm just going to start selling the service or whatever and we'll figure it out. I had no idea what I'm doing, and I felt really insecure and like super like imposter syndrome. Like I'm just like, yo, I'm way in over my head. Like I'm getting on these sales calls. I don't even know like what my offer is. Like, you know what I mean? Like I didn't even really like have enough to know. I was just like, I'll do like anything for anyone. You know what I mean? Just like that.
But you figure it out over time. Like
exactly.
You have. That's starting and failing. Like The amount of times I've been at someone's house, like, yeah, we can take, like, when we don't do that. I've learned not to do that anymore, just the way the business and like scaling it, and we don't do that. But when I was first starting, like, oh, like, you need a new gutter put in?
We'll
Sure.
do that.
I go home, I type in YouTube, I'm like, oh
How
shit,
to?
that's
How
not
to?
easy. Better figure that out.
Yeah.
But yeah, starting, and then another huge thing that I started, I think, right kind of like when I was towards my end of university, because I was in the hockey crowd, and I felt like towards my end of my hockey, I was not really connecting with those guys as much, just different values, priorities. Is and I, especially after finishing hockey, I felt a little like lonely. I'm like, yo, like, none of my other friends that are like, most of my friends are still playing like pro and junior, or have like some job that they don't really like and they're just doing that. So when you meet with your friends, you like go like, I can't talk to them about business. I can't talk to them about personal growth, this.
Just can't relate.
So like over the last, yeah, exactly. So like, and then you feel like, oh, am I like something wrong with me? But then over the last 3 years, like, reaching out to other people that are around your age that have similar goals and like drive as you is just, I say that's almost on the same level as mentorship. Maybe
I think so too.
Yeah, like just seeing like yeah, like you, Hayden, Alex Como. I don't know if you met him.
Yeah, I'm actually going to the fish tonight, man. It's his
Oh,
birthday.
yeah?
I think he's doing something.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah, I was talking to him earlier too. I was talking to him today, but like jumping on a call with that and being able to talk to someone about NFTs or talk to someone about business challenges
Yeah.
or whatever, signing a deal
Yeah.
is extremely powerful, because yeah, you said it sounds corny, but if you hang around with people that are
just going out for the IPAs and just talking about what their last Costco run was like. Like, dude, I don't want to, like, again, I don't want to be on here talking down to anyone. It's not like, I'm not saying you have to run a business or be an entrepreneur, but the loneliness thing is so real, dude. Like, I felt that so many times when I was just like starting this thing out, and like I couldn't talk to my own family about it. All my family's workers. They're just straight blue collar, just like, you work for your paycheck and that's it, and work hard and work till you die, basically. And so coming from that, like, approaching things a little bit differently, and like, yeah, like, business is not a linear path. There's going to be times at the beginning where things are tough, and like, it's not, you don't really know what next month looks like, to be honest. Like, until you get to a point where you kind of do and you can forecast things and whatever, you do have to take a little bit of that bet on yourself, and having people around you that you could just call up and like, just like, it doesn't even have to be talking about business. That's what I found most is like, yeah, like, you chit chat about business and stuff, but literally just someone who gets it, or like someone who'll see like, yo, man, you look burnt. I'm like, yeah, man, it's been a wild week. Like, honestly, like, it's been insane. It's like, oh, like, what's going on? Like, bro, I just put together these 4 deals. Like, this happened, but then lost this client. And this happened. Like, oh, man, I get it. Like, that happened to me last week. It's like, man, yes.
yeah,
You know?
Also it kind of it's kind of nice too, like if you have other friends that are like out there grinding, to like know, like sometimes it'll be like Friday night, it's like 11:30 and I'm just like at home working on something. I'm like, oh fuck, am I a loser? And then I'll be like on my stories, and then I'll see you that you posted you're editing something. I'm like, oh, if Deep is grinding, I'm grinding too. Like,
It's motivating, dude.
Yeah.
It's good. Like, and we all lift each other up that way. It's not even, I guess one difference is like in sports and stuff, right? Like, it teaches you competition, which I hardcore believe in. I think it's really important. Like, I want to see Chap doing crazy shit, because I'm like, the competitor in me is like, dude, I can fucking do that too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, that helps both of us. But it's not like at the expense of our friendship, and it's never at the expense of like growing together. You know what I mean? So I think that, like, I think the important distinction with sports is like, it's not a zero-sum game. It's like a positive sum game. It's like, if you're winning, I'm winning too, even though it's like, you're not like putting money in my pocket per se, but it's like, yo, I can download like what you're doing and like apply that to my business, which is, it couldn't be a more different like service offer, anything, right? But it's like, oh shoot, like, systems, like we were talking about it before this podcast, like, you use Notion, I use Notion.
Yeah.
I'm gonna want to check out some of your templates, and like, I'm gonna want to see, you're telling me like, use this software, it makes this note taking easier, and
Yeah.
like this, that, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, those kinds of things like are very valuable, man, especially because there's no blueprint to this shit, man. And like, as much as I love the courses, and like, I do love the mentorship, and like, I literally just finished saying that, like, how important that is, I think it's not the full answer. It has to be married with like ruthless execution, and like applying shit, failing like failing, whatever,
Yeah.
having that feedback and being like, okay, that didn't work, I'm gonna try this, and like just keep going. And that's really like, it sounds so unsexy, but that's pretty much just what business is in a nutshell.
You're always learning. Like, and
Yeah.
that's what I love about, like, you're always learning. Like, yeah, it's huge. Like, if you're always learning, and to your point of like, yeah, like today, right now, like my business doesn't align with any of you guys, like any of like my entrepreneurial friends, really. Like the most would be with like Anna's with real estate. I
Yeah.
get like none of them. So sometimes I feel like, oh, I'm a little excluded, but at the same time, it's like, it's right today. But it's like, as you're growing, I'm growing, everyone's growing in that circle. It's like, who knows what's possible down the road? Like,
It's actually crazy. We're so
it's
young, dude. Like we literally haven't even gotten started. That's the
exactly.
craziest part. Is like 10 years from now, when we go back and listen to this pod, and it's like, wow, we were idiots.
We're a little bitch.
We thought we knew what we were talking about. We thought we sounded so smart and wise. It's like these idiots. You know what I mean? I want to switch gears a bit, man, because we're already like almost coming up on an hour. This is crazy. But
That's way too fast.
I have to talk about the TikTok account, man. Like I have to dive into it. This is just such a wild thing, and it's not to say that I'm in any way surprised just because of your personality, just because of who you are, and like, you know, I don't see this really, like not many other people are going to be able to duplicate what you've been able to do with that account. So a lot of it is definitely like on you, dude. Like that's fully you, right? But we got to talk about like TikTok as a whole and why that, like, why did you blow up there? Because as of right now, you're at over 100K followers. You know, obviously you work with Jamie and I and Deep Social Brands and stuff. It's not a plug for me or anything, but like, you are by far our biggest client by the numbers right now. So like, talk to me about how you were able to kind of do that on your end.
I think I was the biggest ant first. Was it? Oh no, Tony beat me by like a week. Eh?
Yeah.
How was I able to get the TikTok going?
Like going, not just you had a TikTok account, you put some posts up and like, it's all right. Like, how did you get 15 million views on a video?
Yeah, so a lot of the stuff we do is a lot of the most viral stuff, I guess you could say, is like the oddly satisfying stuff, like the driveway ceilings, time lapses. That's like the ones that have went like the 15 mils and stuff like that. Try to stay away from those more and more, like as it was,
because it doesn't really build like the community as much. It's just like people who like to see cool stuff.
Unless I'm using it, like when I first started, I would put it with just music, and that does better. But then now I'll actually talk, because then it's gonna still turn people off that aren't interested in that. Like I'll talk about like the business or like the numbers or like how to charge or whatever. So like if I went today and just did full montage of those, could blow up and like blow it up easy. I think a big appeal for the home service again, it's not another one of those things where it's like, there's not that many people that have home service businesses that even have social media at all, or are on TikTok posting TikToks with a good videographer with strategy. So I think that's what the perfect mix is. Whereas like, if I was going to go start a makeup channel right now, and I'm not saying don't start one, you can 100% blow up on any platform. If you say that you can't, it's too late to blow up on Instagram or YouTube. You're just telling yourself that you can
That's
go.
cope.
It is. It's 100%. However, with that being said, like if I wanted to go start a finance YouTube channel right now, you have to know that you're going to go up there and put your finance video. Great. Like go for it. However, you have to know that like Meet Kevin's on there, Graham Stephan, like Zip Trader, like these people that are putting high quality content every single day with a team behind them. So like, you have to know that that's someone that you're competing with, and how
Definitely
are you going to stand
not a
out?
blue ocean, a lot more of a red ocean where you're competing with a lot of people. You got to be that much more, have your own unique selling proposition, right?
Either higher quality or something that's unique about you.
Yeah.
You can't just go out there and say, here's what's going on, here's my stock trades, because it's like, yeah, sure, but there's a guy here that's literally putting 15 million, he's so confident in his trades, like, and you're putting on like, oh, buy this because I said so.
Yeah.
Right? So the home service industry, like, just I think being on TikTok in general, and then not having that as many, there's people on there doing it more and more, but like the high quality content for an industry that doesn't really have it. And then another thing for the home service industry is like, it's something that you can do at a small scale when you're like 15 years old, shoveling snow or like cutting some grass.
You're teaching people how to make money.
And you can also do it, like there's people on, like there's a guy that has a podcast I listen to, his home service millionaires, this thing. He's almost at $1 billion company, garage door company. Or you can, so it's one of those things where it's like, you can start with like really little, like there's multi-million-dollar lawn care companies, pool companies, like franchise, like
I started off mowing lawns.
But
That was literally the
yeah.
only way I made money growing up. I was like, dude, I'm just gonna go to every door on my street and I'm just gonna tell them I'm gonna mow their. I was like 13, like
Yeah.
you know what I mean. Like it required no like business savvy or anything, but literally from that age, I was just like, I can print money all summer. Like when I'm not in school, I'm just gonna do 10, 15 houses,
Yeah.
and they're gonna pay me straight cash, and like I'm buying my own iPod.
Yeah.
Like I'm the man now. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah,
But like
it's good though.
that's a reality. Like you can just go and do that. Like and you're teaching so many people in so many different like lanes how to like monetize like a quick side hustle and like get your bread up, like young king. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you don't have to
Print that money.
Print that money. I
money.
love that. I love
That's
that.
my go-to, print money.
Yeah, man. I love it.
Yeah, so yeah, just a combination of like the viral, high quality content from Jamie. If you have a business, like again, I'm not getting paid to say this, but if you have a business, paying someone to come in and shoot 20 TikToks in a day, if you're good on camera and don't have to do multiple takes, which is why we can bang out, I don't want to say 30 on here and then people think they're getting 30 every time. But like if you're fine on camera, like you can easily get, let's say 15. I don't know what their package is for everyone, but let's say 15 TikToks in a day that's high quality, and you have someone there that's helping you with your hooks, helping you with just like pulling it together a little bit, and you have a business, you have to be doing that, putting on Reels and TikTok and pay someone to do it because it's going to be 10 times better. Like Jamie's there with me for the day for 6 hours, 7 hours, no, 7's stretch. Let's call it 5 or 6 hours maybe. Yeah. And that's enough content for me for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Which for me makes sense. Like the paying Jamie is worth the time. It just makes sense. If you have a business, you should be doing Reels, and you should also be spending your time doing other things besides learning how to create Reels and how to post them. You should definitely pay them to do that for you.
Exactly. It's so, I mean, I think it's safe to say it's been pretty ROI positive for you, man.
Yeah. So there's been the amount of money that's came through the TikTok for me is, and again, not like when people say, oh, how you get paid from TikTok, a lot of people don't really get them. Like I don't even have one of those accounts. Like I don't even sign up for that. Like I just go from cold reaching out to brands and people reaching out to me for like coaching or we're selling lights, selling courses, mentoring people. Like we've had even like straight for PadPal jobs that came through Instagram from Reels that have gone viral. The ROI on the TikTok is it's huge.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And I think it's also just getting started. Like you've been crushing it in like that lane that you're doing, but like the next kind of thing is like now that you've built a business that's super successful, super profitable, and you have all this money, the next kind of step in life is what am I going to do with it, right? And you've been investing in some pretty interesting stuff, man. Let's talk about NFTs. What got you into that? I mean, I know we're running a little over time here, but I need to hear from you what made you get into that wave.
So I'm like I said, like I first started looking into crypto when I was at like uni, like because again I'm either listening to some whatever or like go online. So I started looking into the cryptos, and then I can't remember even how the NFTs like came across my board there. Yeah. It was like maybe a few months before it really started being everywhere kind of idea, like maybe like 6 months. I remember talking to you guys about it.
I remember that.
Yeah. So, and I remember being like, yo, it's going to change. Like, I was like, yo, this is going to change the world.
Yeah.
Like,
I remember that day. I really remember that time when you were even telling Hayden Cashin, our mutual friend, like, hey, bro, like, I really think that, like, this is the next wave. Like, people are going to get, like, stupid rich off this. Like, this is the next thing. And at the time, like, he just kind of, like, as Hayden does, just kind of, like, downloaded it, didn't, like, say anything or get too hyped about it. And now he's on the train too. Like he's big into the NFTs. Yeah. I'm next. I'm a hop on it. I don't understand it enough yet, and I, quite frankly, like just to be honest, like I have not put like time or energy into that. I'm just like, yo, like I feel like because I get obsessed with things, and like once I start, I won't stop caring and thinking about that, and that's just gonna consume my life, and I just don't have the time right now. Relatable. But dude, I need like a quick breakdown on what are NFTs, why should you get on them, and like why you're on them so hard right now.
So here's like for you and for a lot of people that are gonna listen to this, it's the NFT right now. It's in its peak craze. So an NFT is a non-fungible token. Basically, what it means is living on the blockchain. We won't get into crazy detail. So it can be like a one of one or like a limited run. So the easiest way to picture that is art. So we have the Mona Lisa that's been painted once, or whatever art, like Andy Warhol, that's been painted, and we put value to that because we do.
Yeah.
Like there's no like it's a piece of paper that someone drew on how many ever years ago. There only is a reason there's value to that because it's limited run, it's one of one painting, and because we see it as valuable because he was a good artist. So with the NFTs, it's a similar kind of concept. Like you can have a one of one drawing online and sell the rights to that drawing. So now you own those rights, and people say, "Oh, I can take a screenshot." But with the blockchain, what it does is it shows that, hey, Deepak actually owns this.
It's a verified owner.
It's like someone that says, "Oh, well, it's the same thing as taking a photo on my phone." Okay, yeah, you can get a Mona Lisa replica at Walmart, but you can't have the Mona Lisa on your house on your wall unless you're going to fork out the money. So,
Yeah.
and right now, and again, it's one of those things where it's easy to digest. We'll wrap it up for the podcast here.
Yeah.
It's easy to digest as seeing it as art and like videos, and like an artist can release a song and have there's only 50,000 of this, and then whoever gets the download can have it.
Yeah.
That's the easy and like the easy way to I was talking with Alex Como today about this. That's the easy way to introduce the technology. It's art. It's a similar idea. Think that how we value art. Think about that with the NFTs.
Yep.
However, when I see NFTs, and like a word of advice for people is like, unless you do your really good research, like I would not start putting money into NFTs, random NFTs. I think it's a waste of money. Like there are some that you'll make money on, but a lot of them, right, like they're so like you can go on Fiverr and I could launch an NFT like next week. It's doing it right. However, where the NFTs and like where I want to do a business or grow into would be the not sexy version. Like NFTs, you can do it for like you can do it for like contracts and like anything where there's trust involved.
Right.
You can use the NFT like it. You could do it to track where every single place your apples went. You can go to the grocery store and let people scan it on their phone. Be, oh, this was in 6 different places, and see what days it was there. Like, it's just a very good way of like cutting out bullshit, I guess you could.
That's how it's
say,
going
and like
use
smart
blockchain to
contracts.
kind of change the world in ways that we haven't even seen yet. So it's like in its infancy in terms of application.
Yeah, it's in its infancy. Like right now, it's the art craze and the music because it's super simple for people to comprehend.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're like, oh, you don't need to do this anymore because this is all going to take care of any of the legalities. Oh, you don't need lawyers for that because this was fulfilled. So it's a smart. That's where like building supplies, like
Right.
something ugly like lumber, knowing where.
Yeah.
And again, like that's not something I'd want to go into. I want to go into something more exciting than that. But like, there's so many different ways that this technology is going to be used, and there's going to be. It's like the internet 3.0. So it's 2.0 social media. Originally, it was just letting computers talk to each other. Then it was the ability, Web 2.0 is to have social media platforms. So you can have your website. I can have my website.
Yeah.
We can go on Facebook. And then 3.0 is going to be like the NFTs, the crypto.
Yeah.
We're on the verge right now of a crazy way. So like, I'm personally, like, I'm investing, like, got in on some of the Gary Vee stuff and like projects that think are legit. But again, I'm too busy to be actively on there trying to learn which ones are trending, which ones aren't. Like I can't do that.
That's the part.
So
I
I'm
find
learning
difficult.
I'm learning about the technology and thinking bigger picture. Like,
Right.
Sure, I could get some NFT
How
photos
could I
now.
sell some shovels? You know,
Yeah, that is the way to put it. Right. Right now you can jump in, you could flip an NFT, make a few $100 or a few $1,000 or whatever. You could lose a few thousand, who knows? Whereas like I'm looking, I'm like, okay, I want to understand this and think, okay, what is an industry that doesn't even know what a crypto is yet?
Yeah.
And now we're on the NFTs. Like they're still 3 steps behind.
Yeah.
Take that technology, apply it to something else, or like reaching out to who knows what it's going to be, but like learning right now. If you don't know about them, I'd say learn before you start dumping your money on OpenSea and stuff, because you can. It's a lot of them are pump and dump, and a lot of them are going to come or have started to and will. But the technology itself is world changing.
It's sound. Okay, man. That's getting me really excited. I'm gonna dive in and
Don't go waste all your money on NFTs though now.
No, I am definitely gonna do exactly that now. Right after this podcast, dump all my entire life savings now. But definitely a very interesting space. I'd like to be involved. I'm gonna do a little bit more of my own research as well. I'm gonna try to learn as much as I can. But I really like that. It's still so new, and it's one of those things that people always look back on, and it's like, oh, I wish like at the beginning I could have done something with this, or like, like Bitcoin's such an easy example, right? Like I remember it being like, I don't know, a few $100 at like a bar. They had like a Bitcoin
Really?
machine, and it was under $1,000. I could tell you that with
Yeah.
pure confidence. Like it was under $1,000 for one Bitcoin. And like everyone has one of those stories, right? Like where it's like it was like wait, you included. We won't get into that. We want to keep it posy vibes here, but bro, I just remember looking at that and being like, that's dumb as hell. Why would I put my money into that, and that now would be worth what, right? So kind of a false equivalency there, because it's like kind of a very different thing, but like, in terms of hype and like, where it's going to be 10 years from now, yeah, very exciting.
Yeah, awesome.
Last kind of thing to end off the podcast here, man. And like we could sit here for hours, as you know. Like I'll get you back on again, bro. Like we'll do around, I guess technically around 2.
We'll do one in Colombia.
We'll do one in Colombia when I'm down there, and yeah, bro, we'll have lots more episodes. But kind of like just to wrap it up with a nice little knot, man. On the It's Not That Deep podcast, I'm about to ask some deep shit. So, how does Adam Chap want to be remembered? How do you want to be remembered when it's all said and done, man?
I'd say I want to be remembered as someone that worked really hard and was able to, like be able to leave an impact after I leave. So, yeah, I'd say someone that worked hard and was straight up on their word. Like if I say something, I mean it.
Mm-hmm.
Like kind of what you said at the beginning, like finding a way to get things done. Like no matter what, like I'll always make sure to get a way done. And then, like I just find like as I've been hitting different goals, like I've been really trying to like, there's different levels of goals. Like I want to be able to like die and also have your name live on, whatever that may be, whether it's
that legacy
through. Yeah. I want like, that's kind of like, it's looking at like my life that way now is really motivating me even more, besides just like, oh, I want to have money and like chill with my family and do whatever I want whenever I want. I'm like, yo, what kind of things can I do so that when I die, like that there's like a part, like there's something that you've made an impact on the world, because you're here for a short time, man. Like money and that, all that 100% that helps, that goes hand in hand with kind of that most cases. So yeah, I think like someone that's straight up and says what they're gonna do, I guess.
Love that, bro. Man, Chap's search for meaning. I love it. I love to hear it, bro.
Yeah, I guess so.
Where can people find you, work with you, find your social media, all that stuff? Shout it all out, man.
Adam R. Chap on everything for my personal stuff, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube as well. And then PadPal CA is for the business. But yeah, if you want to get a hold of me, I'd say it's Instagram DM. I'm trying to get better at answering those, man. It's crazy.
Just flooded, man. This guy's flooded, man. He's been flooded before all the TikTok fame.
That's not true, I guess. No, gonna get me in trouble here. But no, but yeah, Instagram, YouTube, everything, Adam R. Chap.
Dude, I appreciate calling you a brother, a friend, and I'm so happy to kind of grow with you and continue to watch your journey. I know that you're going to succeed at everything you touch, man, and I love you, man.
I love you too. That was so nice. I love you too, brother, honestly.
Man, love, bro. Yeah. Thanks for coming on the It's Not That Deep podcast. Remember, everyone listening, it's not that deep.